Organized labor and the Department of State Services, DSS, appear set to meet eyeball to eyeball. The Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has insisted the planned protest against the prevailing economic situation in the country will hold, contrary to the warning issued by the DSS to shelve the protest. Whereas Labour has begun to mobilize its members ahead of the February 27th and 28th protest, the DSS, through its spokesman, Peter Afunaya, is asking Labour to pursue dialogue and negotiation and not to heighten tension. So, Mayor, the question is, who blinks first?
Oh, of course, it should be Labour. With all respect, I have absolute contempt for the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress as it's presently constituted. They are just a bunch of jokers.
Personal,
that's what I'm saying. I said I have. That's what I said yes. I said I have absolute contempt for them. And why do I say so? They are just, sometimes they behave as if they are officials of the Labour Party and not NLC. Because I agree that things are very difficult. I agree that the Labour should fight for the Nigerian workers. But that this Nigerian Labour Congress, they are just jokers. Why did I say so? Several times, more than 4 times, they will say, oh, they are going to go on protest. They are going to do murder of all protests. They are going to go indefinite to work this. Then they will say, oh, they've met with government, and then they will call up the following day. Even if you want to do anything, it is not now. Because when you go on this strike, you understand, because things are difficult. In whose interest? You are going to stay at home. You are going to stop economic activities. You are going to make us to lose a lot of money. How does that solve the problem? How?
Okay.
Rather, what you need to do is to continue to engage with government in ways that they can better the lives of the Nigerian worker.
Mayor, but Labour is saying government has reneged on the promises.
I agree. They have agreement with government. Government have met some. They will not be able to meet some. But you see, what we want to do, I want to tell Nigerians, is that we have to accept one fact. We are in serious problem. The earlier we accept that, the better. Because, for example, and part of their problem is that government promised, they negotiated with government to give like a bonus to workers. And they say it has not been consistent, at 5,000 naira. That it does not be consistent. Look, if you negotiate with me and you say, look, my people are suffering, we need to give them something to cushion that effect. And I agree with you. You understand what I'm saying? And I said, okay, fine. We agree that I will pay you 35,000 naira. And I paid maybe the first one. The second one, I'm delaying. If the money is not there, where will I get the money to pay? The money is not there. That is the reality. So I agree that the Nigerian workers deserves better because things are very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
I consider. But going on strike is not the answer.
All right.
They must continue to engage government in ways that they can better the lives, not only of Nigerian workers, but of Nigerian people.
All right. The TUC pulling out of this strike, does it send any message to you?
That is the issue for me. Because Mayor was using the word strike. The strike is not really the point of concern for me. They are saying nationwide protest. They want to put people on the streets. At a time of extreme tension, you are galvanizing people you want them to take to the streets. If things degenerate, can you handle it? Did we think that NSAS will get to that point? When policemen, people who are paid to protect us, were being butchered, even in Ibadan, some crazed individuals ate up a policeman. I didn't know that we had cannibals in our midst until this problem came. So the scale of destruction, you know how many police stations they destroyed here in Lagos?
Oh, yeah.
The scale of destruction that we saw at NSAS will show to you that the people carrying out the destruction were real enemies of the state. How do you set ablaze all of those BRT vehicles? Because they are meant for the downtrodden. Is not a man who has his Range Rover SUV that will go and be hopping into
on a bus, a commuter bus.
These BRT buses. It's meant for the poor because it comes heavily subsidized. But even in going on strike, they didn't show common sense. They were going after things meant to alleviate the pains of the poor. That's why one is worried about this course of action. I'm not opposed to strike. As I've said on issues with Jide and even on this program, labor is a pressure group. And the duty of a pressure group is to fight for the welfare of its members. And strike is one of the means by which they achieve that. But protest, because that's what they're talking about, look at it. Protest. So whether you are a worker or not, a protest for the enemies of the state is something that is tantalizing. They will want to get involved in protest. After all, their goal is to bring down the regime. And if they can go to great lengths so that the military that they are winking at can come to power, of course they will be happy. And protests are very often hijacked. Of course, by people not involved in the planning, by people, people who are not part of the stakeholder, they will hijack. Do you know during NSAS how many jailbreaks we had? Yeah. People broke into prisons, released them. Yeah. The people releasing those guys from the prison, they are themselves criminals who wanted to just free some of their friends. So if Labour legitimately has reasons to be angry with government because some of the demands that they made have not been implemented. Yeah. Now the Minister of Labour is saying, we will resume payment of your 35,000, wage award over the removal of subsidy. We are going to do the conditional cash transfer for about 12 million households. Yeah. They promised that. So these threats of strike of petrol stable, anybody who wants to continue to make so much noise, we are back to paying subsidy and all of that, is all because they want Nigerians to pay for fuel at 2,000 naira. They are enemies of the state.
Which is not possible.
They want Nigerians to pay for fuel at 12,000 naira per litre. And that's not going to happen. Any government that allows that to happen is digging its own grave. And I'm sure this president realizes that. So it's not going to allow things to degenerate to the point that we can't handle it anymore. So if they have to intervene in the area of foreign exchange for fuel importation so that we can keep the price stable, I will commend him for doing that.
Yeah, pending the time that Dangote will come on stream.
Yes. If you call that subsidy, that is your problem. We don't have to behave like we are abnormal people. How do you say, okay, laws are even made for men, not men for laws.
Not men
so if for laws, we can see that, with the way the naira is sliding, we won't be able to keep prices of petrol stable. If we come up with an intervention outside of subsidy, is something that I will commend. And this president is doing that. They can make all the noise that, subsidy is back and all that. It doesn't matter. As long as our people are buying petrol, the petrol price is not going up. That is fine.
You cannot even afford that now.
No, nobody should try it. Nobody should
create a lot of problems.
Mayor, so for you, both the DSS and organized labor should find a common ground.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My advice, like Jide said, we are not saying that they don't, that's what I said, we are not saying that they don't have the right. It is their job to protect the interests of Nigerian workers and by extension, the Nigerian people.
Except that you and I miss labor of yore.
No, let us go back there. Let's just stick to what you are doing now. But my own argument is that, look, going on strike or doing nationwide...
Oshomole was not leading nationwide protest.
No.
He was leading labor to protest hiking price of petrol.
Yeah, I remember.
Not that he will be mobilizing people to take to the streets. There was no time.
Because if you take to the streets nationwide, you cannot control it.
You can see that.
Whose interest would that be?
That's why TUC, that I've always worked with them.
Yeah.
That's a big labor center.
But you know the difference? Because TUC, majority of the unions in TUC as senior level officers.
They said no, that they are not.
You understand? TUC is mostly senior level officers, so they can see
that teachers are part of.
Yeah, they can see that it doesn't make any sense.
And
they
say
you want to mobilize Nigerian people because things are difficult. Yeah. But we must not say that. That's why I ask, when you want to achieve something, in whose interest? If you say, okay, you said you are going to give us 35,000, and they said, okay, fine, we are going to pay that 35,000. Because I know the challenges. When the government made that promise, it's not as if they have the money. They are just keep trying to get money to do those things. So it is not supposed to be delayed, because when the government gives its word, they're supposed to keep it.
Must trust it.
Okay. I agree with that. But I don't see any reason why the nationwide protest will solve our problem. No, I don't.
And they can be hijacked and lead to bloodshed.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Government must understand our job here is to help mold opinion and allow decision makers to ride with it. Well, Mayor Akikwelu, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
BKO, many thanks for your time.
Thank you.
So that's our show for now. If you missed any part of it, join us later at 11 p.m. for a repeat broadcast. Of course, on Sunday, we expand the field for you from 1:30 to 3:30. Just to also add, we are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen